All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Thoughtful Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Jen Amos. And I have with me today Dalton Skach, who is the CEO of Goldgate. So Dalton Skach is a successful real estate entrepreneur based in the United States. He attended the University of Colorado Boulder, where he received his degree in entrepreneurship and real estate in 2016. 6 months after graduating, Dalton started his own commercial real estate consulting business, where he sourced 250 million plus worth of off-market commercial real estate opportunities all over the United States for REITs, private equity groups, and institutional investors. While sourcing and underwriting these opportunities, Dalton worked remotely while he traveled to 35 countries, actually over 35 countries all over the world. In May 2020, however, Dalton made a pivot and decided to become a private equity real estate investor himself, which we will dive into the conversation more today. So Dalton, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Jen.
Yeah, I thought I'd ask this question because a lot of things have changed, and also considering that you've made a pivot yourself, I thought I would ask you, how's the new normal treating you nowadays?
It's actually great. I saw an opportunity in March of this year when the coronavirus hit. I was actually on the beach in Rio de Janeiro when this happened.
Wow.
So at the end of last year, I stopped doing my real estate consulting business, which was also called Goldgate. So Goldgate now is kind of Goldgate version 2. But I was
Nice.
on the beach in March of this year in Brazil. Coronavirus happened. Everything was going great down in Brazil while there was only 5 or 6 or 10 cases in the United States, and we were all just no issues at all. And as things progressed, people had to go back to their countries. I said, I'm gonna relax and not freak out. And so I stayed in Brazil for another 2 months. And as I was doing that, I had a lot of time to think since everybody that spoke English left the country.
Mm.
So I had a lot of time to think, develop this business plan. And I said, you know what, I have to go do this. I'm an entrepreneur, and kind of when I see something that's better or a solution, I said I have to go do it. So in May of this year, I came back to start Goldgate version 2.
Oh, that's really awesome. And it sounded like you just had a really opportunistic time to have that reflection down there in Brazil because you had no one to talk to that spoke English. And so tell me about just a little briefly of what was life like when you did a Gold Gate, let's say 1.0. And maybe to back it up a little further, how did Gold Gate come about?
So Goldgate came about. So 6 months after I graduated from college, I was working for a small boutique brokerage developer in Denver, and it was going great. I kind of had that honeymoon feel for the first few weeks, loved my new job, thought it was super exciting. 6 months later, I said, I do not like this company. I do not like my boss. I felt that my boss was I guess the stigma of brokers, where they go get a listing, they put it on the MLS or they put it online, and then they sit on their hands and wait for people to call them, right? And then if something closes, they get paid. And so that's kind of what my boss was like. And I said, you know what, I can do this better. And what I really liked at the University of Colorado Boulder is we had this commercial real estate team that I was on for a year and a half, and we would go around the country competing versus other universities from around the world, whether it was in Singapore or whether it was in Hong Kong, New Zealand, Canada. So we would compete versus them in case competitions, and we would have the smartest people in real estate from around the world come to these to judge us. And I said, you know what? That was the most fun I ever had in college. And so 6 months after I graduated, I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to do what I was doing before. I said, I'm going to do this. And the only difference is that when I was doing it in college, we would make a few $100 if we won the case competition. But in reality, in real life, when I would go out and do it for large REITs or private equity groups, the payout was usually in the 6 figures. So
Man.
I started doing that. My first deal actually came from just writing a handwritten letter to one of the largest REITs in the world and them getting back to me. And so I truly believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like the University of Colorado at Boulder really taught you well. I think the critique quite often for a lot of people is that college didn't teach me anything, but it sounds like they really taught you real life skills in entrepreneurship and in real estate.
Well, I have to say too about the Colorado real estate program, it's an excellent program, but they have their real estate kind of certificate or minor or major that they now have.
Hmm.
But what the case competition is it's extracurricular. It's outside of coursework. You don't get a grade on it. It is really for developing your skill set. And so those people that graduated with the real estate certificate, if you compare them to those that were in the case competitions, it is night and day. It is night and day.
Wow.
We went out into the workforce, myself and my team, and we were able to get jobs with very, very large companies, very successful companies. And they would go, you guys know more than our 30-year-old analysts. How did you find this person? And so it was a great, great learning experience. It was invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like one of the key things that they really taught you was teamwork. And I think like and I found this as a common theme for a lot of people who become really successful quickly. They surround themselves with the right people. And it sounds like you did just that.
Absolutely. I still continue to do that. We just hired a new team over here at Goldgate, and they're just fantastic. They are just masters of their field. And it's great to have that because all the people that I brought onto my team, they were my first choices. I
Mm,
actually put out applications on ZipRecruiter. I got hundreds of applications, literally hundreds of applications. And the top people for each position, I was able to bring them onto the team. And they are just so energetic because they believe in what we're doing. But one of the greatest things about real estate too is that it's very relationship driven. It's very
hmm
very entrepreneurial as well. There really is no 100% right answer. Everybody sees deals differently,
hmm
and it's super exciting to kind of collaborate on stuff like that and make stuff work.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it sounds like you're a very relational person and very easy to talk to even before we started talking. So I can, I think it's a good reflection on you and the success, the quick success. I mean, not really quick, obviously, but like the success that you've been able to have recently.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and fast forward to today, Dalton, and talk about Goldgate 2.0. Tell us a little bit about kind of the thought process for yourself when you were in Brazil and you knew that you needed to make that pivot. And I am curious, maybe, do you think that Goldgate 1.0 would still be able to survive in today's times, or are you really glad that you made that shift?
I actually think because what Goldgate 1.0 did really well is that what we were doing is sourcing off-market deals
Hmm
for our private equity groups. And in 2017 and 2018, that was fairly simple to do, to go out to owners and solicit, I guess, interest in selling their properties. But in 2019, the economy was going so well that property owners were like, we're not going to sell off market. We're going to put it on the market and get a number that we couldn't even put into our Excel formula, right? It was
hmm
just crazy money. And so in 2020, with all of these, I guess, with all these new developments in the distressed real estate, I think I would have had a lot more opportunity to put in a lot more deals. Um, but if you would like, I can tell you a little bit more about Goldgate 2.0 and kind of how I got here a little bit.
Yes, please.
Great. And I know that we have some limited time, so I won't take up too much time. But in Brazil, kind of how it all started is I thought to myself, I was reading and I was following the news and I was following geopolitics as it
Mm,
relates to geopolitical strategy. And in my mind, I said, not only do I think that the United States is going to come out of this pandemic better than any other country in the world for a variety of reasons, but I also thought that the area that's going to do the best in the United States was Texas. And so if
mm,
you know real estate, the three most important things about real estate are location, location, location. So I had that. I said, okay, so I have my location. Sounds great. Let's go buy as much commercial real estate as we can, or real estate in general in Texas as we can, in some of these other high growth markets. And I took it one step further and I said, let's add sustainability to our projects. And I took it
mm.
one step further. I said, I'm a 26-year-old entrepreneur, CEO. And I said, I'll probably be raising some money from younger people that have done well, maybe in the crypto or Bitcoin arena. So then I typed in kind of blockchain real estate, and one thing led to another. And so now where we're at right now is something pretty incredible, because after I found out about blockchain and real estate, for commercial real estate, that's what I was going to do. Is I was going to not only invest in Texas and other high growth markets, but also invest in sustainability for our
Mm.
properties, but also offer these properties as digital securities on the blockchain, so that you could provide liquidity to investors around the world. If at any point in time they wanted to sell their equity interest in piece of commercial real estate, they would have the ability to do so, which in the traditional way for hundreds of years you've never been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the biggest thing that we've got to now, I'm sorry, it's kind of a little bit of a long story, but in August of this year, I said, we keep on giving stimulus checks. We keep on pushing back the eviction notices.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't see any distressed real estate in the assets that I wanted to buy, which was the multifamily arena. And I said, well, what do I do? Do I sit here and wait for 9 or 12 months for some distressed deals to come my way and go from there? And I said, you know what? Where's the distressed real estate right now? And in my mind immediately went to the New York City ultra luxury residential real estate, which is trading at a discount to what it was in 2013. And that isn't the only market. That's like New York City, you have Miami, you have Chicago, you have a lot of these global cities that they have some of the finest assets in the entire world, and in these global locations, and they're trading at a discount. And the only reason that people aren't buying them is people aren't going to spend. So there's only a few people in the world that can spend $35 million on a condo that they're only going to be in for 4 to 6 weeks a year. So now what my business is doing is, now me and my team have created this platform that provides high net worth individuals, family offices, and foreign investors with the opportunity to acquire fractional ownership in these ultra luxury residential real estate properties for the purpose of tax benefits, property appreciation, and personal use.
Okay, so the last thing you said was about 10 instead of 10 million.
Yes.
And then you were talking about like luxury real estate and everything. So kind of like pick up where you left off there.
Totally. So rather than buy one home for $10 million, you buy 12 months of it. How about you buy 6 different homes across the world for the same 10 million? So you buy 2 months in Miami, 2 months in New York City, 2 months in London, 2 months in Grand Caymans, 2 months in Beverly Hills, all for the same price of $10 million. But now you get to diversify your portfolio and where you live. And, which is pretty exciting stuff. And if at any point in time you want to sell your equity interest, you go, you know what, I'm no longer a Beverly Hills kind of person, I'm more of a Bel Air kind of person. You have the ability to put in a sell order, very similar to Vanguard or Fidelity, where you put in a sell order for your shares, and it gets sent out to tens of thousands, and in the future, hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world. And if somebody likes your property, likes the months, likes the location, and it's the perfect time because it's their wife's birthday or whatever, they purchase your shares like that, and very, very instantaneously. And so you might have the ability to go, you know what, I bought 2 months in Beverly Hills for $2 million. 2 years goes by, you go, no, I want to move to Bel Air. And we also handle all the furniture, taxes, insurance for you, all that stuff. So you go, you know what, I no longer want to be in Beverly Hills. So you go, I bought them for $2 million. Let's sell them for $2.5 million. So you put in a sell order for $2.5 million. It gets sent to an SEC registered broker dealer. You go to lunch with Dalton, you have a great time, you come back, somebody around the world, whether it was in Japan or Australia, or Dubai or United Kingdom, bought your shares with their currency too. They can pay in any kind of currency they would like to. They bought your shares because of the reasons I mentioned previously. They like the time, they like the property, like whatever. So now you come back from lunch, you go, sweet, I got 2.5 million sitting in my account. Let's go see what we have in Bel Air. You go to Bel Air, you go, oh, I see another property for 1.5. I want to get these 2 months, click. So you just moved from Beverly Hills to Bel Air in less than 24 hours for a 1% transaction cost, and you didn't need to move a thing. All you had to do was lift your finger probably 4 or 5 times in order to do that. So that's very powerful stuff. This is for, again, the high net worth individuals. This is so important for those that want to have more time in their lives, right? And have everybody or have somebody else take care of all of the negative facets of owning real estate, which is the furniture, the property taxes, the insurance, the repairs. So it feels like home, but you have the same services as a Ritz-Carlton.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really incredible considering how you started Goldgate less than 3 years ago now, really at this point, and how you have already quickly pivoted. And so I feel like everything that you shared is really exciting, I think, for the high net worth person to listen to. And so I want to share, I wanted you to kind of maybe like sum it up, like for the one that maybe the high net worth person that is very intrigued, but maybe this was a lot of information for them, AKA this was a lot of information for me. What is the most basic thing that you want to let them know to be like, you should do this right now? Like, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, so for those that kind of going towards the sell side too, I guess what we would say too is for those that have two or three or four additional extra homes that they
Mm-hmm.
only use for 4 to 6 weeks a year, because there's 30 million homes throughout the United States and in Europe that are only used for 4 to 6 weeks a year. So for
Mm,
those that want to sell their property and adopt this new lifestyle, you are buying a home, but you are really buying this new lifestyle. This is going to help you create wealth, create more time for yourself. This is a sustainable product, and it also has the ability to solve a housing crisis as well. I mean, if you
mm,
imagine that there's 30 million homes that are only lived in for 12% of the time, imagine if you're able to create this sharing economy, which we are already doing with Airbnb and Uber and whatever else it
right.
might be. If you're able to create this sharing economy with these properties, then you have tens of millions of homes that are available for those that might not be able to afford it. And so every piece of, especially luxury real estate, will be digitized and put on this platform in the future. Um, so yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know that you, at the time of this recording, you are about to launch your website or relaunch it in a sense. So what
Yep.
can people expect when they visit your website?
So right now, you can expect on my website that I would go to the website goldgate.co.co, and what we have up right now is just the very basics. So you're going to see the home page. It gives you an idea about what we do, and then you also have the team. You can see their stellar team. We have some frequently asked questions you can see as well, and then you can see our target markets throughout the world. And then the last piece is that contact page. I would suggest that your viewers go to our contact page, put in their name and email address so that they can get the announcement coming in the first week of November about our new platform launch. Now, we've been working on this new platform for a little while now, which is why we only had the coming soon kind of website where you put in
Mm-hmm.
just your name and email address. But we had some investors that were going, okay, you have this revolutionary platform that could create, that could help solve a housing crisis. It's a very sustainable product, and it's going to make a lot of money for a lot of people, and just it's going to change the way that people live. But you don't have your WordPress website up. I said, duly noted. Let me just because here's the thing is that we already had it. And
Yeah.
on the website you had to put in your name and email address to see the demo of the website and the
Mm,
platform, right?
mm-hmm.
But people are lazy, right? People are lazy. So they're like, oh, I got to put in this, I got to get a demo. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just put out the basic information. And then in November, really launch that so people are able to create an account, and that they're also able to see example deals. They're able to see the luxury pictures, the video, the
Mm,
VR, the pricing sheets for each month, all that stuff, and they can understand it. And we're going to have a few updates going forward. So probably in December and January as well. We expect to list our first properties starting in January. We're going to
mm,
be selecting 4 properties every month starting in January with an expected average value of around $10 million. I would say if you're somebody that's out there that has a property or a listing worth over $5 million or more, what we're offering is that if you want to uh, sell your property within the next 90 days at market pricing for a 0% cost. The owner or the broker doesn't need to pay anything. I would say to put in your application on the website, because we're going to be featuring 4 properties, and we get paid our 1% fee by the buyer. So if you're a
mm,
property owner with a $5 million property, here's one avenue. You go to a broker, you spend the next 6 to 24 months selling your property, you pay $10,000 to $20,000 in marketing costs. And then you also pay the broker a 2 to 6% fee. Or Goldgate buys your property in the next 90 days. We pay for all of the professional pictures, the
mm.
professional video, the virtual reality, all of the due diligence reports, and we're marketing these properties all over the world in some of the top magazines there are, such as Forbes and Elite Traveler and James Edition and Mansion Global. So your property is going to be getting views from tens of millions of people. I
Wow.
don't think that your broker can offer that. This is truly revolutionary for those that want to sell their property and for those that want to adopt a new kind of global lifestyle.
Dalton, I love your energy and I love your passion for what you do. I feel like we only scratch the surface with everything that you're doing at Goldgate. But I imagine that people want to reach out to you as a result. And so before we wrap up, do you have any final parting advice that you want to share with our fellow entrepreneurs and small business owners who want to aspire to be like you know, maybe sooner than later?
I would say the biggest investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And we live in the greatest country in the world with the most opportunity that there is. I mean, if you can go out there and give all of your money and all your energy to something that you believe in. And I would say, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Let God take, its course and build your story and build your life for you. And at the end of the day, I think by doing so, you're going to create so many relationships. You're going to learn so much more than you would in your 9-to-5 job. And you're going to create more of an impact. You're going to be able to wake up in the morning having lots of energy like myself.
I was going to say, you sound like you're just having fun every day. I was like, do you take a break? Probably not, because you love what you do.
It's exactly right. Every morning I get up at like 3 to go, and I'm just like, my brain starts. I'm like, I try to tell myself, to my brain, I'm like, do not think about work. Do not think about work. And I lay back in bed and I'm like, shoot, I thought about my business. Now it's time to get up, because it's just so exciting and we're just moving so quickly and the team's energetic. We're getting so much great feedback from potential clients and from investors. So it's a very exciting team. You caught me at a great time. I will also add you to our email list so that you can see some of our new breakthrough announcements coming out this next week.
Fantastic. Well, Dalton, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your energy. It was a great way to kick off my day, honestly. So thank you again. And it was a pleasure having you.
Nice speaking with you, Jen. Have a great rest of your week.
Yes. And once again, we have Dalton Skach, who is the CEO of Goldgate. You can learn more about him and his company at goldgate.co. Thank you so much for joining us.